Assalamualaikum, Luke and Nina. We will discuss about gestures, facial expressions, and nonverbal signs in formal speaking.
Walaikum salam. What is meant by a gesture, ma'am?
A gesture is a physical movement, posture, or expression made with one's body, typically involving the hands, arms, face, or other body parts, to convey a specific message, emotion, or intention.
Would you mention the examples of gestures in formal speaking, ma'am, please?
In formal speaking situations, gestures can be used to enhance your communication, emphasize key points, and engage your audience. Here are some examples of gestures commonly used in formal speaking. 1. Open palm gesture. This is a gesture where you extend your open palm facing upward toward the audience. It is often used to invite or reassure the audience and convey openness, honesty, and sincerity. For example, a speaker might use an open palm gesture when making a promise or emphasizing a commitment. 2. Pointing gesture. Pointing can be done using one finger to direct the audience's attention to a specific point, object, or idea. It can help clarify and emphasize important information. For instance, a presenter might point to a graph or chart to draw attention to a key data point. 3. Illustrative gesture. These gestures involve using your hands or fingers to illustrate a concept or idea. For example, when discussing growth, a speaker might use their hands to show upward movement, demonstrating the concepts visually to the audience. 4. Quotation marks gesture. When quoting someone or referencing a specific term or phrase, you can use your fingers to create quotation marks in the air. This signals to the audience that you are citing or emphasizing a particular word or expression. 5. Counting or listing gesture. If you are presenting a list of items, steps, or ideas, you can use your fingers to count or enumerate them one by one. This makes it easier for the audience to follow along and remember the points you are making. 6. Steeple gesture. The steeple gesture involves bringing your fingertips together while keeping your palms slightly apart. It is often used to convey confidence and expertise. Speakers may use this gesture when making a strong and well-supported argument. 7. Emphasis gesture. You can use your hands to emphasize a point by making a sudden controlled movement, such as a quick clap of the hands or a chopping motion. This helps to underscore the importance or impact of what you are saying. 8. Hand to heart gesture. Placing one hand on your chest near your heart can signal sincerity and emotional connection. It is often used when expressing gratitude, empathy, or personal stories to convey a heartfelt message. 9. Conversational gestures. These are natural, everyday gestures that mimic regular conversation. They include gestures like nodding to show agreement or understanding, using hand gestures to emphasize speaking points, and maintaining eye contact with the audience to establish rapport. 10. Opening and closing gestures. To bookend your speech or presentation, you can use gestures at the beginning and end. For instance, you might start with a welcoming open-handed gesture and end with a gesture that signals conclusion or appreciation, such as a slight bow or clapping your hands together. It is essential to use gestures in a way that feels natural and aligns with your speaking style. Overusing or making gestures that seem forced can be distracting. Practicing your gestures can help you become more comfortable and effective in using them to enhance your formal speaking engagements.
What are the functions of a gesture, ma'am?
Gestures serve several important functions in human communication and interaction. 1. Communication. Gestures are a means of conveying messages and information without using spoken or written language. They can complement verbal communication by adding emphasis, clarification, or nuance to the spoken words. For example, pointing at an object while saying its name can help the listener understand what you are referring to. 2. Expression of emotion. Gestures play a crucial role in expressing emotions. Facial expressions, hand movements, and body language can communicate feelings such as happiness, sadness, anger, or surprise. For instance, a smile is a common gesture associated with happiness, while a furrowed brow may convey concern or frustration. 3. Nonverbal cues. Gestures provide nonverbal cues about a person's thoughts, attitudes, and intentions. They can indicate whether someone is open and friendly or reserved and distant. For instance, a firm handshake can convey confidence and assertiveness, while crossed arms may suggest defensiveness or discomfort. 4. Cultural and social significance. Gestures can carry cultural and social significance. Different cultures may have unique gestures with specific meanings or customs associated with them. Understanding and using gestures appropriately in a given cultural context is essential for effective cross-cultural communication. 5. Enhancing communication. In some cases, gestures are used to enhance the clarity and impact of a message. Presenters, for example, often use gestures to engage their audience, emphasize key points, or illustrate concepts during a speech or presentation. 6. Problem solving and coordination. In collaborative activities or situations requiring coordination, gestures can be used to communicate instructions, signals, or cues. This is often seen in sports, dance, and other forms of teamwork where quick and efficient communication is essential. 7. Accessibility. Gestures can also serve as a means of communication for individuals with certain disabilities or limitations in verbal communication. Sign language, for instance, relies entirely on hand and body gestures to convey complex messages for the deaf and hard of hearing. Nina, what can you conclude from the important functions of gestures I explained just now?
I will try, ma'am. Overall, gestures are a fundamental aspect of human communication, allowing individuals to convey a wide range of information and emotions beyond the constraints of spoken or written language.
Correct, Nina. You paid attention to my explanation. Good. Luke, can you say anything about the function of a gesture?
Well, the function of a gesture is to convey information, emotions, or intentions non-verbally through physical movements or expressions.
Excellent, Luke.
Thank you, ma'am.
What about facial expressions? Luke, do you think that facial expressions are important in formal speaking?
Of course, ma'am. What are meant by facial expressions, ma'am?
Nina, would you try to explain what facial expressions are?
Yes, ma'am. Facial expression refers to the various movements, configurations, and changes in the muscles of the face that convey emotions, feelings, and communicative signals.
Excellent, Nina. It is one of the most important forms of nonverbal communication in humans, allowing individuals to express a wide range of emotions and intentions without the need for words. Facial expressions are a fundamental aspect of human interaction and play a significant role in conveying information and understanding the emotional states of others. Key points about facial expressions. 1. Emotional expression. Facial expressions are closely tied to emotions. Different emotions such as happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, and disgust are associated with distinct patterns of facial muscle movements. For example, a smile typically represents happiness, while a furrowed brow may indicate anger or concern. 2. Communication. Facial expressions serve as a nonverbal means of communication. They can convey a person's mood, feelings, and reactions to various situations. For instance, a raised eyebrow might signal skepticism, and narrowed eyes may indicate suspicion. 3. Universal and cultural differences. Some facial expressions, such as those associated with basic emotions, for example, joy, sadness, are considered universal and are recognized across different cultures. However, the interpretation of facial expressions can also be influenced by cultural and social factors, leading to variations in their meaning. 4. Micro-expressions. These are very brief facial expressions that occur involuntarily and often reveal a person's true emotions, even when they are trying to conceal them. Micro-expressions can be challenging to detect, but are crucial in fields like psychology and law enforcement. 5. Social interaction. Facial expressions are essential for social interactions and empathy. They help individuals understand the emotional states of others, allowing for better communication and connection. 6. Art and acting. In the world of art and performance, facial expressions are used to convey characters' emotions and intentions. Actors, for example, often rely on their facial expressions to effectively portray the emotions of their characters to the audience. 7. Neurological basis. Facial expressions are controlled by a complex network of facial muscles and are regulated by the brain. Research in neuroscience has provided insights into the brain regions responsible for processing and producing facial expressions.
Mom, may I summarize the key points about facial expressions?
Sure, Luke. Go ahead.
In summary, facial expression is a nonverbal form of communication that involves the use of facial muscles to convey emotions, thoughts, and social signals. It is a fundamental aspect of human interaction and plays a crucial role in understanding and connecting with others.
Great, your summary is excellent, Luke.
Thank you very much for your compliment, ma'am.
In formal speaking situations, individuals often need to maintain a professional demeanor while conveying their messages effectively. Would you give examples of facial expressions commonly used in formal speaking situations and the emotions or intentions they convey, ma'am?
That is a good question, Nina. Here are some examples of facial expressions commonly used in formal speaking situations and the emotions or intentions they convey. 1. Neutral expression. A neutral facial expression with a relaxed and composed face is often used in formal settings to convey attentiveness and professionalism. It indicates that the speaker is focused and receptive to the audience's responses and questions. 2. Engaged expression. An engaged expression involves maintaining eye contact with the audience, occasionally nodding and displaying a subtle, friendly smile. It communicates interest, receptivity, and a desire to connect with the audience. 3. Confidence expression. A confident expression includes maintaining good posture, holding the head up, and keeping a steady gaze. It conveys self-assuredness, competence, and credibility as the speaker presents information or arguments. 4. Serious expression. A serious facial expression with a composed demeanor can be used when discussing important or sensitive topics in a formal setting. It signals the gravity and importance of the subject matter. 5. Empathetic expression. When discussing emotional or personal topics in a formal context, an empathetic expression involves showing understanding and concern through facial cues such as softening the eyes and displaying a compassionate expression. 6. Professional smile. A professional smile is a controlled and restrained smile that is used sparingly to convey friendliness and approachability without appearing overly casual. It is often employed in customer service, client meetings, and formal presentations. 7. Concentration expression. A concentration expression involves furrowing the brow slightly and maintaining focused eye contact. It shows that the speaker is deeply engaged with the topic and is carefully considering their words. 8. Appreciative expression. An appreciative expression, such as a polite nod or a slight smile, can be used to acknowledge the contributions or questions of the audience, demonstrating respect and gratitude. 9. Calm and composed expression. In situations where maintaining composure is crucial, a calm and composed expression conveys stability and control, even in the face of challenging or stressful circumstances. 10. Listening expression. When actively listening to others in a formal setting, speakers often display a listening expression that includes maintaining eye contact, nodding occasionally, and displaying a neutral or interested demeanor. This communicates attentiveness and respect for the speaker. 11. Thankful expression. A thankful expression involves a warm and appreciative smile, often accompanied by a nod when expressing gratitude or appreciation toward the audience, colleagues, or stakeholders. 12. Acknowledgement expression. This expression may involve a subtle nod or a brief smile to acknowledge that the speaker has heard a point made by someone in the audience. It shows respect for their contribution. In formal speaking situations, it is important to strike a balance between professionalism and conveying appropriate emotions or intentions. Effective use of facial expressions can help speakers connect with their audience, establish credibility, and enhance the overall impact of their communication.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It is very clear.
Let's continue to nonverbal signs in formal speaking. Nonverbal signs, also known as nonverbal communication or nonverbal cues, encompass a wide range of behaviors, expressions, and signals that convey information without the use of spoken or written words. Nonverbal signs play a crucial role in human communication and interaction. Here are definitions for nonverbal signs. 1. Nonverbal signs refer to any form of communication, expression, or signaling that does not rely on spoken or written language. These signs encompass a broad spectrum of behaviors, including facial expressions, gestures, body language, eye contact, posture, tone of voice, touch, proxemics, or use of personal space, and even silence. Nonverbal signs convey emotions, attitudes, intentions, and other important messages between individuals in a social or interpersonal context. 2. Nonverbal communication is the process of conveying information, thoughts, and feelings through nonverbal signs. It includes all forms of nonverbal behavior and is an integral part of human interaction. Nonverbal communication complements and often reinforces verbal communication, providing additional context and meaning to the spoken or written words. It is a fundamental aspect of interpersonal relationships, helping individuals understand each other on a deeper level. Nina, are nonverbal signs essential for effective communication?
Yes, ma'am. Nonverbal signs are essential for effective communication, as they can convey nuances, emotions, and social cues that may not be explicitly stated in words. Understanding and interpreting nonverbal signs is crucial for successful communication and building strong connections with others.
Wonderful, Nina. You are totally correct.
Please give examples of verbal signs we can use in formal speaking situations, ma'am.
Nonverbal signs in formal speaking situations can significantly enhance your communication and convey professionalism. Here are some examples of nonverbal signs that can be effectively used in formal speaking situations. 1. Eye contact. Maintain regular and appropriate eye contact with your audience to establish a connection and convey confidence. Avoid staring at one individual for an extended period. Instead, distribute your gaze evenly. 2. Posture. Stand or sit with an upright and confident posture. Avoid slouching or appearing too relaxed, as it may undermine your professionalism. 3. Handshakes. In formal settings, offer a firm and professional handshake when greeting others or concluding your speech. 4. Smiling. Use a professional and friendly smile when appropriate to convey warmth and approachability. Ensure that your smile is genuine and not forced. 5. Body language. Pay attention to your body language. Avoid crossing your arms, which can signal defensiveness, and instead keep an open and welcoming stance. 6. Proximity. Be mindful of your physical proximity to the audience. In larger settings, avoid standing too far away, but also respect personal space by not getting too close. 7. Dress code. Dress appropriately for the formal occasion, adhering to the expected dress code. Your attire should convey professionalism and respect for the event. 8. Poses. Use well-timed pauses to emphasize points, allow your audience to digest information, and signal transitions in your speech. 9. Nodding and active listening. When listening to questions or comments from the audience, nod in agreement or acknowledgement to show that you are actively listening and respect their input. 10. Minimal distractions. Minimize any potential distractions, such as fidgeting, playing with objects, or excessive movement that could distract from your message. 11. Confidence in movement. If you need to move around the stage or speaking area, do so with purpose and confidence. Avoid aimless pacing or nervous movements.
Mom, what are the negative consequences if we speak without proper gestures, facial expressions, and nonverbal signs in a formal setting?
Speaking without proper gestures, facial expressions, and nonverbal signs in a formal setting can have several negative consequences, as nonverbal communication plays a crucial role in conveying information and establishing rapport in professional and formal context. Here are some potential negative consequences. 1. Miscommunication. In formal settings, clarity and precision of communication are essential. If you rely solely on spoken or written words without using appropriate nonverbal cues, your message may be misinterpreted or misunderstood. Nonverbal signs often provide context and nuance that words alone cannot convey. 2. Lack of engagement. Proper gestures, facial expressions, and nonverbal signs can help engage your audience or conversation partners. Without these cues, your communication may come across as flat or disinterested, making it challenging to hold the attention of others in a formal setting. 3. Reduced persuasion. In formal situations such as presentations, negotiations, or interviews, nonverbal signs can enhance your ability to persuade and influence others. Effective use of gestures, facial expressions, and body language can make your arguments more compelling. Without them, your persuasive abilities may be diminished. 4. Perceived lack of confidence. Nonverbal signs play a significant role in conveying confidence and credibility. A lack of appropriate nonverbal cues, such as maintaining eye contact, using open and confident body language, and modulating your tone of voice, can make you appear less confident or unsure of yourself. 5. Difficulty in building relationships. Building professional relationships often relies on nonverbal communication to establish rapport and trust. In formal settings, failing to use appropriate nonverbal signs can hinder your ability to connect with colleagues, clients, or superiors. 6. Cultural misunderstandings. Nonverbal communication can be culturally influenced, and different cultures may interpret gestures and expressions differently. Using improper nonverbal cues can lead to cultural misunderstandings and potentially offend or alienate others in a formal setting. 7. Reduced impact of messages. Certain messages particularly those that convey empathy, support, or sympathy, are more effectively communicated through nonverbal means like a comforting touch, a compassionate facial expression, or reassuring tone of voice. The absence of these nonverbal signs can make your messages seem less empathetic or genuine. 8. Loss of nonverbal feedback. Nonverbal cues provide immediate feedback to speakers. Without them, it can be challenging to gauge the reactions, emotions, and engagement levels of your audience. This lack of feedback may prevent you from adjusting your communication effectively.
How do we mitigate these negative consequences?
Can you answer Nina's question, Luke?
I am so sorry, ma'am. I don't know.
Alright, Luke and Nina. To mitigate these negative consequences, it is crucial to be aware of the role of nonverbal communication in formal settings and to practice using appropriate gestures, facial expressions, and body language to enhance your communication effectiveness. Developing your nonverbal communication skills can help you convey your messages more clearly, engage your audience, and build positive professional relationships. Luke and Nina, I think it is the end of our discussion session. You can review the materials we have discussed at home. See you at the next discussion. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.